Hey everybody, good afternoon and welcome to another tutorial. Today we're actually going to be getting into a little bit of just starter DJ stuff. So welcome to this tutorial. Today we're going to be taking a review, my personal review of the DDJ 200. This is a entry starter controller, and yeah, this is targeted for the beginners DJ. Just like myself, I'm only new in the game personally, but just thought I'd give my own personal review of this piece of hardware. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I'm not being paid by Pioneer to do this, so this is just temporarily. This is just my free will choice to make a review of this. A lot of people have made a review of this, and a lot of and the software that recommends it to be ran with, but today we're going to be using Virtual DJ with this controller, because besides all the ones that it recommends, there's also other programs that are compatible with this piece of hardware as well, and Virtual DJ is one of them. So we're going to be using Virtual DJ on the laptop. I'm not going to be showing the wireless feature, but for the ones that are thinking this review, this is a wireless Bluetooth capable controller, and you can also, for iPhone and Android, you can actually download a few applications, DJing applications, that actually allow you to pair your phone with it via Bluetooth, and also you can scratch any songs that you've got on your phone. You can actually scratch it, or any phones, if you've got any streaming services like SoundCloud. I know there's certain applications that support Spotify and stuff like that. So yeah, you can also go onto online streaming services, and also rather than having it stored on your phone, you can also access your favorite streaming apps too. And the other way to DJ effectively, so this cord, this is a cord that came with it. This is what you call a stereo to mono splitter cable. So one is for the headphones and one's for the speakers. So you'd usually plug this male into a female of a 3.5mm jack, and these two that are on the opposite end are two female 3.5mm jacks. So one you'd plug your headphones into, there's a headphone symbol on one, and there's a speaker symbol on the other. So the headphone symbol is for the queuing. So say for an example, you're DJing and you might want to queue up a song, but you don't want your audience to hear what you're queuing, because you know, they could be enjoying the music and queuing could kill it a little bit. Well, what this cable allows you to do is to take two stereo signals and turn them into mono and stream them down individual individual channels. So these will become two mono channels, even though it's a left and a right, and this will the queuing will go to the headphones, and whatever's playing on the master that's what your crowds will hear. So this is what this cable is, but mainly you would use this for a more professional setup. I'm only just showing the basics of this, but that's also an accessory you get besides the USB cable. But if we get closer to the unit, right, so hang on, it's just on standby mode at the moment, so it's all flashing. So you've got your crossfader. So just to explain what a crossfader does, so you have two tracks, so you can play two individual tracks or more depending on how your software is set up, but in this case we are looking at the physical hardware. So you've got two decks. Hang on, let me turn on my sound. Okay, so you got two decks. See, that one can be scratched, and also that one can be scratched too. But depending on your software setup, see, I'm using Virtual DJ, and but depending on your software setup, you can actually thing up to 4 decks. See, I've got 2 extra decks down the bottom, but this controller only manipulates the top decks. So yeah, but back to crossfading. So crossfading, usually it's in the middle, so you might be wanting to play one track, so this track would be playing, and you might want to, without having it, because you know how tracks either have an instant ending or they fade out. You might want to have it so it's gapless. So what a crossfader does is, for an example, we'll just play this track. So what a crossfader does, we'll play the same track on this side. So you could be playing two tracks at once. You might want to fade one out without a gap. This is just a silly example of it. So you'd fade it to that side and pull that track. And as you heard, that was a gapless play. So, I mean, it was a silly example, but that's pretty much demonstrating the crossfader, how you play two tracks, and you might want to crossfade to that side. There's different types of effects you can put on the crossfader as well, but that's we're not teaching the advanced. We're only teaching a basic, what everything does, and everything like that, just for the beginner users of DJ. So that's your crossfader. You got your effects button. That's what I was saying before. When you're crossfading, you can actually set certain effects. This can be customizable to each DJ. So you might want to, you can give a normal fade in and out. You might have a filter. So usually over here these are filters, but these can also be customized as well. But these are by default, these are filters. So instead of turning these knobs individually and trying to filter in and out, wherever it's the highs out or the lows out, this will do everything with the effect. That's what it's preset to at the moment. So this is the live effect button when you want the transition effect button. So that just, if you want to, as I said, same thing when you're crossfading, you want to transition to another song, you might want an effect on it. So when you're actually doing the thing, when you're actually moving this from side to side, it might have an effect, like a wind effect or whatever. It's, as I said, it's customizable. So that's what the crossfader and this button here does for the live effect. These individual sliders here, these are just the slider volumes for each deck. So this is the left slider deck, this is the right slider deck. So yeah, so we'll go, we'll stay at the bottom for now until we go further up the controller. So if we go to the left deck over here, we've got a speed, we've got a speed control. So this will control the speed of the track, of each track. So each side's got ones where you can speed it up and down. So this is the fader for the speed. So you might want to speed up a track. See, or you might want to slow it right down. So yeah, so that's just a speed fader. So that's just lets you speed or speed it up or slow it down. So that is pretty much what these faders here, that one and that one. Right, so you've got your play. So this button is just that plays each track. You got also your Q button here. So the Q button is pretty much you can save. If you want a certain part of the track played on one side, rather than having to start again and play the whole track, you can actually push. So hang on, for an example, I'll just go forward. So let me go forward in the track. So I'm actually in the song. So if I go Q, and then hang on, just for the copyright purposes, I'll speed it up. Oh, hang on, my sound's playing up. Say, hang on, my sound's just having a bit of a. My sound's having a bit of a play up. Hang on, guys. Okay, here we go. So this is if we go pause there, I might want to just have that track there. So I'll go Q. Every time I play, it'll just go to that thing, to that position of the track. See? So that's queuing. So it's you can also set these as hot cues, but we'll get into this soon. But this is just your main cue. This is an important button to have, especially when you're DJing and you want to cue your tracks up so they sound a bit more smoother, rather than how sometimes you've got entrance of a song that you might not want in your mix. You just want to start from a certain part of the song. This is where this button comes in handy. So yeah, play, pause, cue. Over here, you also got your performance pads. So these are also these get set by the software. So these buttons can do several things. So at the moment, I've actually got these on loop roll, but you can actually set these to do different things and also customize it to your liking. But as I said, we're only keeping to the basics. So if I play that track again. So that's what the loop rolls do. It just loops. You've got different loops that are being preset here. As I said, these buttons can be changed for things. You can use them for queuing as well. So you can, if we look at Virtual DJ, and if we look at, it's a bit hard to see, but this part over here. So these are the actual performance pads here on the software. So these associate with the performance pads. But for this example, we're only using loop roll. You can customize it to other things, but for this tutorial, the shift key, this can be used for if you want to edit certain things, or you can also customize it to do other things as well. Because remember, just because these are set by default doesn't mean they cannot be customized. So you can actually go in the software itself, you can go into the controller settings and actually customize everything, right down to what these do, right down to what these middle buttons do. You can customize it. So it's totally different. But for the basic DJs, this is what I'm just aiming at. So the shift key is pretty much by default. If you were to have hot cues, you could like set them, but if you wanted to delete them, you'd hold your shift key and then push the button that you wanted to get things. So that's what the shift does by default. But as I said, you can customize it to do other things as well. So yeah, we've got the sync button. So sync button pretty much describes what it does. It just syncs the rhythm of two decks together. So if we hang on, just turn it down. So what it does is, if you've got a song playing on this deck and a song playing on that deck, you can actually synchronize the rhythm by pushing sync either on each side. If a rhythm's going faster on this side and this rhythm's going slow, it'll speed. If you push sync on this side, it'll speed it up. Same with on this side. If you were to push sync on this side, if it was a faster rhythm and this one was a slow rhythm, and you push sync on this side, it'll slow down this rhythm. So yeah, this is pretty much the bottom of the controller, what all these buttons and all these faders do. So moving further up, we'll just go with the easier one. So these are the jog wheels. So everyone knows what a jog wheel. So it pretty much represents a turntable. If you were to sort of thing with a turntable, you know, if you were to sort of scratch with a turntable. But the jog wheels represent a turntable. Or in this case, we're just using a vinyl turntable for an example. You can have them set to CD, but I've got them set to vinyl. So I said as scratching physically how a DJ would, normally scratch physically on a normal turntable. These actually are for digital, because it's just a controller. So any songs you digitally load into Virtual DJ, you can actually scratch it. So those are the jog wheels. So those are the jog for scratching. Sometimes if you want to temporarily slow down the track, you can by thinking without touching the top. So these are actually touch sensitive. I've come to realize that these are actually touch sensitive. So it actually recognizes when you touch it and then when you move it. So the top of the jog wheels, on the top of them, is actually touch sensitive. It's got a little, must have a digitalizer on it that recognizes that it's sort of like similar to a smartphone, how when you touch your smartphone, it recognizes your hand gestures. Well, that's the same with this. It must recognize that it's been touched anywhere on the platter. Because sometimes when you just turn the side, since I've paused the track, it doesn't think. So what I mean is, let me show an example. See, it's turning up on the side, and it's doing it with this, and all I'm doing is touching it. So yeah, that's the jog wheels. So moving back into the middle here, well, we've described the faders. So these are the knobs. So these knobs can be customized. At the moment they're just set to default. So you've got the filter knobs, your low, your bass, your mid, and then your treble. So these are what these are, so you can adjust the treble so it's higher, take the mid range out, or take the bass out. But as I said, if you're advanced DJ, you would actually reprogram a lot of these, because this is only designed for basic. So these indicate where the pads have been touched. So see if I touch that side or that jog wheel, it skips to that side. Same with that. Touch that jog wheel, touch that one again. Master, all these can be set. I'm not too sure exactly what this one's set to by default, but yep, that's the one that I'm going to be customizing later on. And last but not least, the capable feature that actually makes it work with a smartphone or a tablet or iPad is Bluetooth. So usually, as I said, I'm not going to be discussing the Bluetooth, but this is actually broadcasting. The controller is actually visible to anyone that's in my vicinity to connect, which is just me. But if I was, I'm recording off a mobile or for tablet, if I could actually launch DJ on this tablet and actually pair this physical controller with the DJ software, because there's an option in the settings of the software itself to allow you to connect to this. And once you're connected, the same thing. If you had tracks on your phone, you can manipulate them and do pretty much the same thing you would do on a laptop, but you could do it all from your phone, which is great too, because this gives you the option to either work with a laptop or phone. That's the one thing that sort of I like about this controller, is you can work with both. I actually personally like working with a laptop because, first and foremost, laptops have way more storage than a phone, so you can store a larger amount of a music library on the laptop, which I have done. But the benefits of having a mobile device is actually you don't have to carry much stuff around. So this could actually power off a power bank, but at the moment it's getting its power source from the laptop itself. So this is getting powered off the laptop, as well as being the MIDI data is being transferred through USB. But you could also plug this into a power bank. So if you had a portable power bank, and you could actually plug the USB part of this controller into that, use it as a power source, and pair with this through Bluetooth. And as I showed you the splitter cable before, the DJ splitter cable, this is what you would use to plug into your mobile device. You can also use this to plug into your computer as well. So if you've got a laptop with a jack out, you can also use this. But for my home, because I'm just at my home doing my own DJ stuff, and for my situation, my system, I don't have very good soft hardware to cue with, so that will come in handy when I get a little bit of a better laptop, which will come in time. But for this tutorial, I was only really demonstrating the DDJ 200, my personal reviews. I've had it for when did I get it? Almost 2 weeks now. And it's been addictive, and it's really good for an entrance, DJ level entrance. So I just thought I would give my own personal review and demonstrate of this DDJ 200. I was given it for free, so these are worth 450 New Zealand dollars, where I was given this piece of hardware for free. So I thought I'd do a review on it as well, and I like to sponsor a friend named Horby. A bro named Horby, who gave me this controller for free, because I was doing mixes, and he wanted to actually he wanted to make me happy by doing what he did. But I do really appreciate it, because I'm just a new DJ in the gang. But that's the review of the DDJ 200. Look at the standby. I like that standby thing. I think Virtual DJ does that as well, but you could probably set different standby things too, but by default this one looks good. But you've been listening to Robbie T, and until next time, hopefully everyone has a good day, and until next time, ciao ciao.